Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm doing a review of Next Gen New York City. So it's a group of like 8 kids. Okay, I know one is Riley. Riley is Candy Bird's daughter. Then it's Kim's daughter. I think her name is Ariana. And then it's Brooke, and his mom is on Salt Lake City, the reality. I mean, the Housewives. Then it's Ava, Damon Dash daughter, so she's on there. And then there's some other cast member. I know is one named Charlie. Now Charlie is the one who has a troubled past and have a troubled life, and then he takes his anger out on all of the other cast members. So the past episode, 2 episodes, Georgia didn't wash her hands and she tried to touch Riley, and Riley was like, don't touch me because you didn't wash your hands. So we all said, and on social media and stuff like that, that we all know that that's nasty, and you must wash your hands. You out in public, wash your hands, and after you finish using the restroom. So we all know that. We all taught that about, at least what, 3 years old, or or younger or older, however. But we do know it. If your parents didn't teach you, there's the issue. So that's the problem. Okay, so Georgia was saying that Riley was aggressive when she was talking about the issue with her Georgia touching Riley with her dirty hands. Then So Riley wasn't aggressive. She was in a very calm tone of voice. If you watched her on Real Housewives of Atlanta, you know how Riley talks. You don't know Riley, but we know her mannerisms and stuff like that she does on the show when she was growing up. So everybody who watched Real Housewives of Atlanta should know who Riley is. If you don't, I don't know what show you was watching. Point blank, boom. Okay, so they try to make Riley, the angry black woman, she's screaming and hollering that, you didn't wash your hands and you nasty. And then the woman said that germs is good for you and stuff like that. And just like Riley said, nope. It might be true for some people, but some people can't take germs. And I think I'm one of them. But I'm just saying that, you must wash your hands after the restroom. So what I'm trying to get to say is that they was trying to make Riley the angry person, that she was aggressive, just going off on people. Like tripping. Our word, tripping. But Riley was never tripping. Riley was just stating herself, have her own boundaries and her self-respect for herself, and was like, no girl, you nasty. Flat out. That was the tea. Okay. So that was basically the first episode and the second episode. They was talking about that back and forth. And then Charlie was making jokes about it and stuff like that. Cause he's arrogant and he has a real nasty attitude. So anyway, episode 3, Riley goes to Brooks' house and he's like trying to fix his sewing machine. And then another cast member comes over, a guy, he sews. He stated that his mom brought him some curtains and she put him up. And then as soon as she left, he took him down and made him to me it looked like jogging pants, but it's kind of like see through. But he took it and then made it not see through. You can see through his legs, but you can't see through his butt and his front area. So that happens. Riley's over there. She chilling. Smiling. Well, I don't think she was making jokes, but she was, basically, having a good time. And, everything was smoothly with them. So the guy that fixed the sewing machine, Charlie calls him, talking about in 30 minutes they going out to dinner. So he trying to hurry up and get away from Brooke and Riley. Okay, so now Gia is having a pool party. So Gia is Teresa's daughter from Real Housewives of New Jersey. So Gia and her mom had a conversation, and she stated, typical. She don't want any drinking and don't get on the bouncing I don't know, spring, or it's something that you can bounce on. So basically, she said she don't want no lawsuits if somebody get hurt and don't go on the bouncy. And then she said, and then Teresa said that she has a camera that she can watch y'all, when they have the party. And basically, concerned parents. She said just make sure nobody gets drunk. Okay, they in their early 20s and mid 20s. I mean, the oldest person is Charlie, so good luck with that. Okay, so now everybody gets on the bus in New York. They get it like a party bus, but it's real long, so it carries like 7 people, and everybody had their own little space, but they had to sit on there for the cameras, like real close, whatever. But it was enough room for everybody to have their own space. So Charlie goes, they just start having like a basic conversation. And they go on and on and on. And then Charlie mentions something to Riley, talking about you a cusser or something word. I basically he was saying that Riley was aggressive to the girls they met, that they met. But Riley was saying that no, that's not true. You didn't introduce us to the young ladies. You set up there and left and went to another party. But then they showed a flashback. Child, them flashbacks will always get you. So Riley was not aggressive. Riley said and introduced herself, and she had said Charlie is her friend. So she would just say like, I just want you to know I'm his friend too, and we can get to know each other and stuff like that. Nothing out the way, not aggressive. Like Charlie said, so Riley gets mad and she puts her hands against her face and she started crying. So Riley started crying and then Georgia said, "Oh, Riley, what's wrong? What's wrong?" In her best white voice. And Riley was crying and she would say, "I'm tired of this. Y'all white people coming after me like I'm the angry black woman. Like I'm doing so much. I'm just keeping up the drama. I'm giving y'all scene after scene after scene." And she said that's not the case. And Charlie said something. Yeah, you was this, you was this and that. So basically, Charlie was just saying that that Riley was an angry black woman, and then he says that Riley didn't introduce herself to the young ladies, but the young ladies came into their circle. So when you come around people you don't know, you introduce yourself. Basically, that's what Riley was saying. But Charlie took it to another spot, kept on stating in his own conversation that Riley was the angry black woman. And I think somebody said that Charlie, were you the oldest? No, Riley said that the girls might have been older than she was, and they should have some type of respect for themselves and people when they first meet them. So basically, that was the conversation. But Charlie was just an asshole. He attacked Riley, and Riley stood up for herself. Riley broke it down and explained to him what he said, how it should be handled, and stuff like that. So that went on and on and on. And then Charlie said, "Was I apologize?" So we thought, he apologized, whatever, right? So they in New Jersey, and they getting off the bus, and Charlie says, "Well, don't tell Gia." I think that's her name, Teresa's daughter from Real Housewives of New Jersey. So anyway, my girl Riley makes a beeline to George. I mean to Gia, and tell her what went down. So go back. Gia got a socket, and so you know how sometimes them sockets don't work well with the housewives or with reality shows. So anyway, the psych is there. People getting their readings and all like that. Oh, that's right. So Brooke and Eva, Ava. I think it's Eva. I don't know. Is it Avia? I can't think what Damon Dash daughter name. I'm just gonna say Eva. Eva and Brooke didn't say anything when Charlie was attacking Riley, and they both supposed to be Riley friend. More Brooke than Avery. I mean, than Eva. Eva, she's a biracial child, and her, somebody said on YouTube when they were doing their review, saying that Damon Dash, I don't know, she said if he should teach his daughter about blackness or whatever, but Eva, whatever her name is, she got features as a white woman, and she grew around with white people. And Damon Dash ain't gonna take no time out of his day to sit up there and tell his daughter what's right and what's wrong. I mean, what's right, about being black and stuff like that. Because the way he grew up, and he married her mom, and her mom is non-black. I think she's Indian, and so that life was just totally different. And then they grew up in New York too. So, she just, a black white girl, so the basically, to make the argument, whatever. So I'm saying Eva and Brooke didn't stand up for Rowley. Then Eva goes to Charlie talking about, no, this is the way it's supposed to be and stuff like that, stuff like that. Then that didn't work. So they get to the party, everybody getting their drink and stuff like that. Then I think Eva and Charlie was in there talking. Charlie tells Eva that he is not sorry, or he takes his apology back to Riley. So Eva runs and tells Riley. Riley checks him, grabbed his arm, and he said, "Let her go." But anyway, so they going back and forth. Then Riley had to get Eva together and tell her, "Say, girl, the way I look and where you look is two different things. They're gonna be more friendlier with you, the white people, than they're gonna be with me because I'm tall, I'm black, and I'm from the South." So, and Ava, I think that's her name, Ava. She, grew up all around those white people and stuff like that. So she assimilated herself. So she's not going to take out for Riley or whatever. Because I told you, Brooke and Ava didn't take up for Riley. So that's basically the episode. I skipped to the parts that I remember, and I talked about the parts that sound good to me, and I decided to do that. All right, so that's my review. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Please get in the comment section so we can get this conversation going. If I said something wrong, correct me so we can go back and forth. A good back and forth, and get the statement correctly and stuff like that. I appreciate y'all guys, and have a nice summer. My guys like 90 degrees here, and I'm scared to turn on the air conditioner because my brother is dramatic, and he always looking at his bills. All right, I'm out of here. Talk to you later.